Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Homayoon TV. So today I'm going to give you 3 cool tips to increase your workflow in Cubase. So let's go. First one is about automation. There's a cool thing in all of the DAWs which is called automation, which is absolutely necessary to use when mixing and doing creative stuff. And you can just, well, there's multiple ways, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about something specific here. I'm just going to say right click on the track, and then I'm going to say please show the automation. Well, we don't have anything, and this is just a volume automation, and by default that Cubase shows this if you don't have any other automation. And I can just put some spots here and add the automation, and this is they're gonna override my volume with the fader here. So you can see to the left side the fader is going to move. That's easy, right? And you guys probably know this, but the next tip that I'm going to tell you is about trimming automation, which is really handy and underrated. And you can use this trim function to slightly modify your automations without going actually to the curve. And what you can do is that first, if you want to trim automation, you need to press F6 on your keyboard to open the automation panel. And what you do after is you just click on trim here. Okay, and now you have an extra line. And what you can do now is the same. You just add lines wherever you want. Okay, and then you modify it. And look, now it's gonna just modify whatever you had before. So it's in proportion with the movement that you had before. So this is pretty cool if you just want to make a tiny bit adjustments and you want to make it kind of in flow with the other ones, you know, because you can just adjust it. And also if you don't want it, you can simply remove it. So no biggie there. And that's the whole point of this trim function. And the way to do that is just to turn off and on the trim. You can just do this. And as you can see, it goes back to the way it was before. Just drops down, goes gradually back up. But if I turn on trim, as you can see, it's already out, down, and now it's coming back up. So it's going to do like a combination of what you have both in the trim and also the line itself. But bear in mind, from what I know and what I saw, this only works with automation that is inside Cubase. I didn't see it once I tried it, but it didn't work for perhaps automation that was from other VSTs and stuff. So, but just give it a try and maybe let us know in the comment section if it worked out. But this is a really lifesaver if you are making complicated automations. And also, yeah, of course, it works for everything that's written here and other automations that's for Cubase. But yeah, let's now move on to the second tip, which is quite an easy but useful tip. I'm going to just grab this one because it's in my other monitor. I'm going to grab it down. You guys already know that if you want to just modify different things at the same time in proportion, if you have multiple tracks, you just have to select all the tracks that you want. For example, I want all these faders to be adjusted together at the same time. And well, if you select them, it's not going to work, right? But you already know that you can use you already know that you can use this Q link here to just link all the parameters together. So if you now move it, they're going to move in proportion. And look, they're really in proportion. It's not that it's just going to really do linear, but it's not linear. So as you can see, and everything else is there. But you already know this. Maybe you already know. And now look at this. If I hold Alt and Shift, even the Q link is off. I'm going to do Alt and Shift. You can do it in proportion again. So everything is going to move. The link is working. So Alt and Shift is like a fast way of using the Q link without turning it on here. So if you just hold it, it's just gonna work. Okay, and then if you let go, it just goes away. And it's a pretty lifesaver thing if you're just doing quick stuff, and it's good to learn all these in time. And I know it's a lot of stuff, even for me, for everybody, to learn all these little things. But if you just try to put it in your head every now and then, that you practice them for every project, then it will really, really speed up your workflow. And of course, if you want to learn more about the shortcuts, you can also buy one of these cool cups here. It's a short cup that has all the cool Cubase shortcuts engraved on it, and you can also give it as a present to a friend. And what it does, it also supports the channel and keeps the videos flowing, and then also you can have something cool on your desk to brag about it with your producer or your composer friends. All right, so now let's go on to the third tip. Okay, so the last tip is for people who use the score editor. And well, basically the basics are always there and you guys already know it. And I'm just going to double click on the event, and this brings this page here. Then I'm going to click on score editor. Then I have my score editor here. But sometimes you might say, hey, I need more stuff. Where are the other things? And basically all the settings that you have, layouts, for example, layout options that you have in Dorico, you can have them in this section. And if I click on the settings here, you have your layout stuff. So all the things that you had before in the score options in Cubase previous versions, you can find them here. So page size or space size or time signatures, if you were composing for film or something, you can just also modify them here. So they're good to go. And if you wanted even more information than this to modify, just open the actual score editor. If you just open score editor here in the score section, or Control R, then you have this left part here, which you were missing here. Then you can just use whatever you want to adjust your score. And I really wish that we also have it here, but I guess it would make it a bit more complicated, or maybe there is a way to bring it there, and I don't know it. But it makes your life easier with all these tools, and it's also necessary. But I said all that to just get to this point that we miss something. I mean, this whole score editor is quite incomplete, at least in comparison to Dorico, and there's quite a lot of bugs there. But one of the biggest one is that you cannot really select somewhere, and like with Dorico, you just click somewhere and then you press P to play from there. The playback is always weird, and it just kind of does what it wants, and you have to just follow it in the score to go back what you were doing. But a workaround is to just hold Alt and Shift and then click somewhere, and then this will move the playhead to where you're clicking, and it's pretty handy. And then you click, and then you do it again, and this will help you a lot with the timing and what you're doing. But yeah, hopefully we get a bit more revamped version. I've been waiting for this for quite some time to have a better, you know, not just the face of Dorico's note editor, but actually the functions as well, because now it looks like it's just the face is beautiful, but what's behind it, it still lacks a lot of stuff and fixing. And yeah, that was it for today. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a comment and also like this video so I can make more content for you guys. Until next time, see you. Homayoon out. Bye.